welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about GoodReads ratings and rating books and my philosophy on how I decide what rating a book is going to get. First, let's start at a high level. So for me, a 1 and a 2 star are both negative ratings. If I do not like a book, I do not personally enjoy a book, then it will go into a 1 or a 2 star. If I like the book and I have a positive feeling about it, then it will be a 3, 4, or 5 star. So that's the high level cutoff. Now let's talk about the negative rating. So a 1 or a 2 star. A 1 star is a book that not only I do not personally like the book, meaning it's just not to my taste, I don't enjoy the book, I don't want to keep reading it. It's maybe a book that I'm like, think I might stop reading because I'm not enjoying it. It's not something that I look forward to picking up. That is the first criteria for a 1-star book for me. I think on top of that, a 1-star book needs to have something objectively wrong with it. So it could be that there are inconsistencies in the story. Maybe it's a nonfiction book and there are like incorrect pieces of information or misleading or false information in it. It could be it's just like really sloppily written. There are a bunch of typos in it or something. It could be that the book has some sort of major issue with it, like it's racist or something, or there's something more objectively wrong with it and I don't like it. That is a 1-star read for me. Now for 2 stars. So a 2 star is basically the same thing as a 1 star, except I'm eliminating the portion of something objectively wrong with it. A 2-star book is a book that just personally I didn't enjoy, I didn't like. It was a book that I was not looking forward to picking up. That is a 2-star read for me. Okay, now let's get into the more positive side of things. Let's talk about the positive ratings, which, as I said, are 3, 4, and 5. Now, a 3-star book is a book that I like, but is not really that memorable. Probably a book that I enjoyed reading as I was reading it, but as soon as I stopped, I was like, yeah, you know, that was fine. I'm never gonna think about this book again. It's not gonna be a book that I'm actively going to recommend to people unless they specifically ask for like the most specific criteria and that 3-star book is the only book that I could possibly think of, then I would probably still recommend it. But in general, it's not, these are books that I'm not actually recommending to people, but I do have a good reading experience. Now I'll go to 4 and 5-star books. For both of those numbers, I usually have a very good or great reading experience. Like a 4-star book and a 5-star book could be equal in my mind in terms of entertainment value. Like I could enjoy them pretty much just as much. They're both above average or excellent reading experiences. In my mind, what differentiates a 4-star book and a 5-star book is a 4-star book, usually there are specific things that I can point to and say, you know what, I didn't really love this. Like, for example, maybe I wasn't super surprised by the plot twist, or maybe in certain areas it was a little bit too slow than I would have liked, or maybe there were specific plot points that I didn't understand, or I didn't like, or I just didn't jive with, or maybe it just wasn't quite as entertaining as a 5-star book. So generally, those are things that will drop a 5-star book to a 4-star book, in my opinion. But in general, I do still view a 4-star book as a very good book. A 4-star book I would absolutely recommend to people. For me, a 4-star could very well easily be another person's 5-star read. So for me, a 4 and 5 is not all that different in terms of like the enjoyment. So I would actively recommend 4 and 5-star books to you guys, or really to anyone. Now, of course, saving the best for last are 5-star reads. For me, I think a 5-star read is a book that is not only entertaining, a book that personally I enjoy reading. That goes for fiction and nonfiction. I have to enjoy the reading experience, but it's a book where I don't really have any specific problems with it. I can't point to any specific plot points or any specific twists or any areas of the book, any sections where I'm like, yeah, I didn't like that. A 5-star book is a book that I'm entertained, I enjoy it from start to finish, and there's no specific areas of the book where I can point to and say, yeah, this is specifically what I didn't like. Now, of course, there are going to be little tiny things in any single book that maybe you would change. Maybe you didn't like a particular character or how some tiny thing was developed. For me, that's not enough to really drop it. Maybe I would drop it to like a 4.5, but if there's nothing really major that I can point to and say, yeah, I didn't like this aspect of the book, then I will probably give that book a 5-star. So hopefully this video is helpful as you watch some of my other reviews. You can get a better sense for my philosophy of how I go about thinking about rating books, because I know different people kind of think about these things differently. I would love to know if you have a similar scale to me or you think about it differently down in the comments. And that's it. Bye guys.